Hey, thanks for stopping by. Angela from Creating It here. And have you ever had any of these scenarios happen to you? Okay, so it seems like you've done something that we've all done at some point or another in our knitting escapades, and that is you have dropped your stitches all off of your needle. Now, the first thing you want to do is don't panic. As long as you don't move your garment around very much, all of the stitches should stay in place. You want to lay your piece somewhere flat where it can't get moved, because these all here are live stitches and you don't want to move them because they can come undone. And you want to also try not to move your working yarn very much because it can also pull the stitches out as well. So let me go ahead and show you how to do this. So now the first tip that I like to do is I like to thread a tapestry needle with an opposite yarn color. And you can also see that this yarn is a smaller weight than the one we're working with. So this will make it much easier to work through those stitches. Now go ahead and using your tapestry needle, thread through all of those live stitches. And be very careful not to move those stitches around as much as possible. Your stitches are now secure. You could actually tie this string and save this for another time if you needed. But as you can see, they're not going anywhere once they're on here. So next, you want to go ahead and get your knitting needle that you're working with. And we're going to go ahead and put these stitches back on our needle, just like this. Okay, so now we have all of our stitches back on our needle. Now we will do the final step. Go ahead and hold that first stitch down so it doesn't slip off your needle and pull that yarn string. And just keep pulling until it comes all the way out. And just like that, your stitches are back on your needle and you're ready to begin your project. All right, so step number 2 that I'm going to show you is how to get your stitches back on using a knitting needle that's smaller than the one for your project. And the way we're going to do that is actually pushing this needle in the opposite way of how we did before. And I'll show you why in just a moment. So go to the side that has the working yarn and go ahead and slip that needle right through those stitches. And you can see how easy this is because the needle is way smaller. And if you notice, I didn't move my garment around very much at all when doing this. So now that we have all of our stitches on our smaller needle, now we're going to take our project needle and we're going to go ahead and slip those onto our working needle. Just like this. Just slip them on as if to purl, but we're kind of going the opposite way. Now all of your stitches are back on your working needle and you're ready to begin. Lastly, I'm going to show you a third scenario to fix your stitches. Now let's say you run into this issue. Most of your live stitches are where they're supposed to be, except a couple of them fell down one row. Go ahead and thread that tapestry needle once more time. and go through those 2 stitches that fell down 1 row. And thread that yarn through there so it holds them in place. Now the next thing you can do is either step 1 or 2, where you take another yarn and thread through those stitches, or you take the smaller needle and you thread through those stitches. Either way will work. And we're going to use the method of the smaller needle. So go ahead and put that smaller needle through those live stitches. Now when you come to the 2 fallen stitches, go ahead and just go past them into the next stitch. Now see again how we're being very careful not to move those stitches as much as possible. Okay, so now that you have your stitches on the smaller needle, go ahead and do that process of putting all these stitches onto your regular working needle. And now when you get to the section that has those 2 dropped stitches, what you're going to want to do is set your work down, and I like to get a crochet hook to pick up those stitches. And you want your crochet hook to be smaller than your needle size. And now I have a tutorial on how to pick up drop stitches and actually go through that process step by step. And I'll put a link to that down below for you. So go ahead and take your crochet hook and go through that stitch through the front, just like so. Now pull that string out of that stitch. Okay. And you see this bar that's behind it right here where it fell out of? We're going to hook that on our crochet hook and pull that through that loop. And then we're going to put it onto our needle. Now let's go ahead and repeat that process with the next stitch down below. Go through the front of that stitch. Once it's on your crochet hook, go ahead and pull that yarn off of it. Now going into that loose bar behind it, go under it and pull that through. Now go ahead and place that on your left needle. And here you can see that those 2 drop stitches are now picked up. So go ahead and put those stitches from your right smaller needle back onto your left needle. And now all of your stitches are back on your needle and ready to begin. Now if you drop them, you know exactly how to fix them. Hope this was super helpful for you. And if you have any questions, ask me in the comments below. And then until next time, see you later.